Deep Blue Sea. This is the 1999 big-budget B-movie directed by Rennie Harlin, who also directed A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, Cliffhanger, Die Hard 2, Die Harder, Prison. Anyway, welcome to Shark Week. First off, wow, Shark Week on Horror Show host, the restart of the Shark Week series. Huzzah! I am so excited to review the Deep Blue Sea movies. I have a lot of different opinions about them now than I did on my other channel. I gave this movie a 5 out of 5 on my other channel. I was like, wow. But, yeah, no, it's not a 5 out of 5. But, it's still a lot of fun, so let's get into it. But before we get into it, make sure to check out my book, Chomp, which was written in time. Thank God. This is a killer shark book that I wrote, and I'd be honored if anyone would check it out and give me feedback on my second book, my first being Wild Man. The links to purchase it on Amazon on paperback and or Kindle are in the description below. Let's get into the review. The plot: at a water-based facility in the middle of the ocean called Aquatica, a team of researchers are working against the clock to benefit mankind and find a cure for Alzheimer's. Now, of course, they had to breach protocol and use illegal sciencey stuff to enhance the sharks, and now they're smarter. The sharks are the test subjects. I probably should have said that. Anyway, now they found a way to break free, tear people up, and try to escape their facility. Who can survive? Well, probably not who you would expect for the most part, if you haven't seen this before or haven't even seen anything about it. So, it's Jurassic Park, but in an underwater research facility. Now, I know honest trailers said, oh, it's Jurassic Park. I said that before, you mother... Go back to my older videos, I have said this is just like Jurassic Park, but with sharks and underwater. But old scars. There's no need to bring up the past now, especially because new channel, kinda. I've been on it for about half a year now, maybe a little more. Oh well, let's get into the review. I grew up with this movie, so the nostalgia, it's heavy. But I'm able, at the age of 27, to look past nostalgia. At the age of 26, I was like, nostalgia sucks because it warps your vision on a lot of stuff. Now I'm like, nostalgia can be good, but it does blind you to a lot of errors in films that you didn't notice before because you grew up with the film. But Deep Blue Sea, it's still a fun popcorn ride, and I love it. It's got a lot of solid qualities to it, some that not a lot of people mention, so I'm here to bring the light to that situation. The characters, there are some deleted scenes where they kind of expand on the characters a little bit, and I like that a lot. But as for the film, without the deleted scenes, they're good. They're pretty good. Some have hinted backstories. Others have backstories that are just fully said right there and then. They're like, this is what happened. This is why I'm doing this. And some people have backstories that are made for memoirs. LL Cool J. Anyway, a few of our characters consist of Carter Blake, played by Thomas Jane, who's always awesome. And here he's a shark wrangler with a backstory. He could be in trouble for some things he's done in the past, so this was a place where he could swim with the sharks, not make waves, and get paid. Susan McAllister, played by Saffron Burrows, is a bitch. I'm trying not to swear, but God, she comes around at the end and is like, oh my god, this is horrible, what have I done? But throughout most of the movie, she's like, this is for the benefit of mankind. It makes the ending all the more satisfying. Preacher, played by LL Cool J, is a really good character, actually. He's funny, he's got some heartfelt moments. I especially love the scene where he, Susan, and Carter are trying to ascend through... They're trying to make their escape, and they're, like, trying to pray with them. And when they're looking up at the hatch that they're going to try to escape out of, it's got a cross sign in the hatch. Like, it's manually put in there, and it looks like it wasn't intentional, but there's a cross there. They're looking up at the hatch like it's our gateway to heaven, or our gateway to get the heck out of here. And while they're praying, he says, I carry myself a big stick, and I'm the meanest mother in the valley. Like, oh my god. Preachers don't swear like that in prayer. But he's a really fun character. I love his character. Then we have Russell Franklin, played by Samuel L. Jackson from Jurassic Park, as well as Die Hard 3, and a lot of other movies. Pulp Fiction before this movie. Yeah. He's the guy who wants everyone to think he's not just some businessman. He's not just some rich, money-grubbing piece of crap. No, he's just trying to say that he's a regular guy like everyone else. He just happens to have a lot of money and has had a tragic backstory. They all have tragic backstories. I love it. It involves an avalanche, which leads into one of the best scenes in the movie. When I saw that for the first time, I must have been like 8 years old, maybe 9, maybe even younger. And I was like, ah! The rest of the cast are wonderful too. Janice Higgins, Jim Whitlock, Tom Scoggins. My favorite of 3 is probably Tom. He's a loudmouth, funny guy, but he's a lot of fun, so that works. He's not a prick about anything. The sets, I think this was filmed at a submarine base or a battleship. I don't know which, but it was filmed at some war machinery location, and it just looks amazing. It's all rustic, and it looks like a base in the 90s would look for this kind of situation. Then when they go to the lab, it's all pristine and shiny, which makes sense. They probably put the most time and effort in that lab to keep it sanitary and pristine. It is also one of the few films I've seen that have depicted the ominous blackness of the ocean at night. I mean, we don't get to see much of the ocean in the movie, but when you do, you feel it's like you're looking out into that abyss through that huge window, and you're like, what the hell is out there? And then when they see that little image start coming closer and closer, much better done here than in Jaws 3D, of course, it makes you uncomfortable. And then you also have to realize they're out there in the Blue Sea, in the middle of nowhere, and the only hope of help actually comes pretty fast. They have to call the Coast Guard for something or whatever, and they get there during a hurricane in record time. I'm dead serious. They're like, there in 5 minutes. This film had a $60 to $80 million budget, and until 2018, it was the biggest budgeted shark film ever made. The Meg dethroned it. This film has influenced a lot of movies, 2 in particular, Dino Croc, where he's underwater trying to tell the guy to go up, and then the Dino Croc eats the guy in front of him, Deep Blue Sea. In Frankenfish, they have the unexpected, shocking, surprise deaths that come out of nowhere that you weren't expecting. That happens a lot in here too, and it has that kind of survival pace to it too. I love the fact that the cliche, the black man never makes it out of these kind of situations, is spoofed. They actually say it. It's self-aware. Brothers never make it out of situations like this. Not ever. The gore, there's CG models and bloodshed all over. I think the dummies, the CG dummies, they're not actual dummies, but they're like models of people, aren't that bad for the most part. Some of them are hit or miss. The sharks look really good for the most part, but when they're swimming by, they kind of look too blurry in a way. And also, people get ripped in half, ripped apart. I don't want to quote anybody, but he grabs them by the pussy. The effects, the CG models are okay. I mean, when you watch it on Blu-ray, they don't look so okay, but on DVD, they're fine. The animatronics, though, on the other hand, wow, the shark is amazing in this movie. When they have the huge animatronic, they use it a lot in this film too. It's not like, oh, we'll have it in one scene and then I kind of toss it aside. No, but they have this full-fledged animatronic shark, and it's incredible. The motion picture soundtrack, there are some songs in this movie, like Deepest Bluest, my head is like a shark's fin, but I'm not a huge fan of the soundtrack. I am a huge fan of Trevor Rabin's score. He composed this movie and made it probably the second best musical score for a movie since Jaws, and Jaws 2, and 3 and 4. But this has amazing, epic, scary music. I think it's just a solid soundtrack overall that never gets the appreciation that it deserves. I actually have it somewhere. Do I have it over here? I have the soundtrack. Believe me, if I can find it, I'll put it into this video. I don't know if I'm wearing the same shirt or not, and this is a totally different day, but here's my Deep Blue Sea soundtrack. It doesn't feature songs from the movie, like the LL Cool J songs and stuff. It features songs that were in the movie, like theme songs and stuff, which is a really cool soundtrack. I love the music in this movie. But yeah, it's only got 10 tracks. I had to download the rest and put them on the same soundtrack and put them in order, which was a pain in the butt. But Deep Blue Sea, man. Anyways, this movie is just stellar fun. It's got a solid budget, so it has amazing effects for the most part, especially the practical ones. Great music, a tight script. It's 105 minutes, but it always feels like it's 90. I mean, I watched this with a couple friends, and they're like, this was boring. I was like, well, you didn't grow up with it, so you don't know. I agree. Some parts and the atmosphere of the film kind of make it a little slow and boring at times. But this film is still watchable. It's got some cool kills. So overall, I'd have to give Deep Blue Sea a 3.5 out of 5. Thank you all for watching, and Lion Brian Gatto, the horror show host. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon. Even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I'd greatly appreciate it. You'll also get access to music videos and kill counts that are not on this channel because of agent copyright restriction. Also hit that notification bell, and as always, subscribe.